Welcome to Creating Connection with me, your host, Dr. T, where we will navigate being human together. We'll do this through conversations, exploring the challenges and joys of life, uncovering insights and strategies to create meaningful connections, to foster personal growth and find solace in the collective wisdom of our diverse community. Drawing from a unique blend of academic expertise and personal experiences, I will dive into the joys and complexities of aging, death, dying, grief, and body image. With a blend of humor and compassion and understanding, we will forge connections that transcend geographical boundaries and unite us in our shared humanity. When we come together, the possibilities are endless. Creating Connection with me, Dr. T, starts now. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Dr. T, and you are listening to Creating Connection on Transformation Talk Radio. Stay with me for the next hour as I introduce Metta meditation, also known as loving kindness. I will also be leading a Metta or loving kindness meditation at the end of the episode or towards the end of the episode. So why am I talking about this today? Well, there is a lot of pain and suffering in the world right now. And some could say, it's ongoing, but I would say things seem to be really heightened and actually, kind of contentious. And I don't know if that's because we're connected on a 24/7 level, or if it is because, we can see, what other people are saying, or there's, the keyboard warriors that might anonymously post some things, or maybe just straight up disagreeing. And we're able to see that in real time in a different way, I think, than any time before. And so, there is genocide going on, there is pain, there's suffering, there is, political unrest as far as like what is happening. Students are protesting, and it can be really, really tough. So why I introduce Metta meditation. So Metta is also known as loving kindness. It is a Buddhist practice, and it's to cultivate compassion for ourselves and others through directing loving, friendly phrases and goodwill. Okay, well, so that's a little different from some of the mindful meditation practices that I've talked about here. And when I first learned about it, I thought, oh, this feels a little hokey. However, the more that I've worked with it and I've guided others, this was a practice that we'd come to a lot in my the group that I led over COVID, because that was also really challenging, people's beliefs and ideals and families and all of the things, and being separated. There was a lot going on. And the feedback that I would get is that it was a helpful practice. And I don't want, okay, so in episode 9, we talked about self-compassion and gratitude. So if you haven't listened to that, that might be also a good one to listen to, because this idea of bringing self-compassion or focusing loving messages towards yourself can be a lot, right? Especially if you're having, some hard ideas about like who you are. Maybe your self-talk isn't great. And so again, just be open to whatever happens, or if you do decide to do the meditation with me later. So noticing what comes up, like when you are offering friendly phrases, and I'll get into the nuts and bolts of it. But the main thing that I really appreciate about this practice is that it reminds me that we share our common humanity. And this can be difficult, especially when we are upset or angry or hurt by another human being, or even vehemently disagree with their politics or their line of thinking. So what this practice does is to remind us that, we're all human having this human experience. And I believe, and you can check this out, but I believe that at the core, most of us, unless, you're on a far end, most of us want similar things, right? We want to be safe. We want to be healthy. We want to, you know, uh, feel at ease in our finances. We want to protect our children and and be able to eat and have a home. So I think that even if you found the most disagreeable person, whether it's in your sphere, and you actually like talked with them, you might find that they too want these things. They are just going about it in a way that seems like, why? Why, why would you think that's going to keep you safe? Or why do you think that decision or, this movement, whatever it is? So I think for me, it brings back this idea that we're probably more similar than we are different, but it gets really muddied and murky in today's world. And when we don't actually have the opportunity to sit and, talk to someone and say like, hey, why are you making this decision without it becoming contentious? So we also what episode was I'm just looking at my notebook here. So I was in the episode, sorry, episode 7, Speak Peace, Navigating Conversations Using Nonviolent Communication. That is also a great book. There's good references on like how we can be at such odds and yet, have compassion and have, kind of that curiosity or willingness to understand another person's perception. And these are big things, right? So like, it is a practice. As I always say, it's a practice, not a perfect. So we come at these meditations and at these ideas of meeting challenging emotions and challenging people with curiosity. That's my invitation. If you can be curious and explore maybe the stories you're telling about others, you can start to become aware, which then you can maybe shift some things. And this might even be towards yourself, right? So this practice is, they show that it does help with self-compassion. So again, it can be also so metta, as I've been saying, is a Pali word, and it's most often translated as loving kindness, but it has also been translated as universal goodwill or loving friendliness. And one of my teachers called it like boundless friendship or friendliness or something like that. So if loving seems to be too tricky or icky or whatever, maybe it can be like, can I have a friendly attitude? Or can I have maybe not even friendly, like, can I have a curious attitude about what's going on in another person's life and wish them well? So this is a concentration and mindfulness practice. And so when I'm guiding it, I'll be using phrases and give pause so that you can repeat them in your mind and things like that. So it's concentrative, meaning that there'll be words that I will be guiding, not just kind of checking in with your breath, although that's always a great anchor of attention, as we've talked about in other episodes. And so it invites the practitioner into a more friendly, connected state of mind. And it's a practice that can be practiced anywhere, anytime. Meditation cushion, driving in traffic, or walking down a busy street. And I do have a funny story about driving in traffic. So years ago when I was learning this practice, and my sister had also been doing this practice, and so she said that she was doing it when she was driving. So if like another driver frustrated her, she would send them loving kindness, she would send them well wishes. And, again, there's certain phrases you can make up your own, but there's kind of some set phrases like, may you be happy, may you live with ease, things like that. And so, so there are phrases, right? So she said, oh, I've been doing this practice. Well, when I'm driving, I can get frustrated. It's getting better, but there have been times where if I get cut off or something, that there's like this like real frustration and irritation, maybe even some colorful language. So, um, but so Kelly tells me about this practice, and so that's in the back of my mind. I'm driving. This was when I lived in Reno. I can still see exactly where I was, going to enter the freeway, and someone pulled up, kind of a bonehead move and cut me off. And I was really frustrated, but I was like, oh, okay, this is a good time to practice, right? I could not think of a phrase. Like, I could not think of one loving kindness phrase. And so what I did was I just yelled at the other driver. I was like, loving kindness, like, and I yelled it so loud. And and maybe that's as close as you can get, is to just yell your intention to be more kind. But it's not actually accessible in that moment. So, and again, you could hear that I'm laughing about this, or if you're watching, you can see that I'm laughing because I believe that all of these practices are best with a dash of humor, right? Like, we're so human and we have these foibles, and rather than beating myself up, I do try to find the humor in what's happening, right? So that's like yelling loving kindness at another driver when I was beside myself. I was frustrated and I couldn't get to the actual phrases. And so, as you practice any type of meditation, notice what the mind does, notice what your body's doing, and see if you can be, that kind of investigative state and have a sense of like humor and curiosity about what's going on, because these minds of ours are just bananas. I didn't sleep well last night. I woke up at 3 in the morning, and I had, a song running through my mind. I had thoughts about the show. I had thoughts about upcoming, connections and talks and things that I'm doing. And my brain, I was like, okay, brain, please just let the body rest because it needs to rest. And brain was not having it. So, rather than get caught up as I used to do, like really frustrated, I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that. I was like, okay, yeah, the brain is just real busy right now, and I'm not going to beat myself up about it because that doesn't actually help. And so, I read my book and would try to go to sleep and read my book. And yeah, so I don't know why I got off on that. Oh, just like being kind and humorous. And again, kindness can feel like a stretch, and loving kindness can feel like a big stretch, especially when it's either towards ourselves, if we're working on changing how we see ourselves, but also in turn how we change how we see the world and how we might relate to those around us. And so, like, why practice it? Through Metta, through the boundless friendliness, we become more honest and loving towards ourselves and the world around us. Now that seems like a big ask, and it is a practice. So, if you don't if you don't feel that way after the meditation that I leave, come back, practice it. I'll be uploading it on Insight Timer, so you can practice it at any time. Or there's many people who are leading different metta meditations. And so in the meditation, we're wishing happiness, safety, and ease towards ourselves and others. For me, happiness was a big kind of like I'd get stuck on it. And you'll hear me talk about that in the gratitude episode 9, is because I think we do tend to focus on this idea of like the happy, like it was saying like, may I be happy? And I was like, well, I'm here to experience all of the emotions. And I would get stuck in that. And so, and then when you're wishing happiness and safety, when that there are people, probably in your own community that aren't happy or safe, or living with ease, right? So it's a higher level, like, it's almost this altruistic wish. And where it comes in handy is that when we are seeing all of the division and atrocities and, things coming across the newsfeed, much less challenges in your own life, it can feel really overwhelming. And like, I'm one person, what can I do? And yes, we can, sign petitions and give to charities that we believe in to support causes that are near and dear to our heart. But in the midst of it, it can be so overwhelming. Like, what can I do? And so this practice, although it's not actively doing anything, I do believe, and remember, I'm a little woo adjacent, I do believe the ripples flow out, and that as we really wish these things for people in our lives, in our communities, and in the world, we can feel more at ease in our own bodies. And with that becomes the ability to have that opportunity to respond versus react, right? And so maybe if you're practicing this and you're allowing this in your life, maybe you're yelling loving kindness in your head or out loud at another driver, or maybe it gives you that space to go, huh, wow, I really, really disagree with how this person is going about finding their own peace, ease, and happiness. But maybe underneath you could say, oh, okay, yeah, they actually are. It's just so different from the way you're going about it. Maybe it gives you a little space or pause. And I know I yeah. Anyways, so yes, I've had people talking about their experiences in very different ways. So again, we're offering the feelings of goodwill using simple phrases, and then generally it can start to be first ourselves and then to someone that we love. I usually switch that up and start with someone that we love, so you might hear it different if you've had this practice before. And then you practice someone that you're neutral or maybe even indifferent towards. And then I'll invite you to consider a difficult person. And I do want to say that when you're going through this practice, do not pick the most difficult person. And I'll remind you in my when I guide the meditation. But then you extend it out to all beings everywhere, which I think is so powerful, because guess what? You're one of those beings, like all beings everywhere. You get included in that. And I was practicing at one point, and we got to that point, and I thought, oh my gosh, like everyone who's practicing a loving kindness or metta meditation anywhere around the world at any time is sending those well wishes. And so I am a recipient, and you are a recipient, whether you know it or not, of well wishes from somewhere around the world, from someone practicing this, maybe at any point of the day. And I find that so powerful and beautiful and connecting. And so remembering that you are included in these well wishes as we expand them out. So some examples of the phrases you might use, are may I be happy. And again, I talked to you about the my kind of reaction to that, but just stay with it or find your own phrases. Really, you don't have to. These are, again, this is a long-standing tradition, concentration meditation practice. And so if the words don't resonate with you, do find your own words. That's also a beautiful practice. Another phrase might be something like, may you be healthy in body and mind, and may all beings live with ease. And again, you might have your brain, this beautiful brain, going like, but people aren't living with ease, and this isn't happening, and how can I, and just say like, okay, well, that is the wish that I'm having, right? Because can you imagine a world where people were healthy in body and mind and living with ease? Like, oh, I mean, I love that idea, and I know we are a long, long way from getting there. But, practice. It's practicing, and it's inviting these things into your world so that you might meet some of those challenges a little easier, or maybe even your own experience. And again, some people might feel this practice kind of mushy or sentimental. They might struggle to feel the connection, as I've been saying. And other people might struggle to direct kind or friendly feelings for someone they consider a difficult person. And so the practice can be compared to lifting weights, right? This was written by a Buddhist teacher, Melvin Escobar. He was teaching on metta meditation, that he wrote that the practice of meditation can be compared to lifting weights. If we begin with a weight that's too heavy for us, we might end up hurt or give up. Likewise, he wrote, we can harm ourselves by trying to practice metta with a very difficult person in mind if we haven't developed the capacity to work with the aversion and despair that may arise. Because there are people that have really hurt other people. And so, this idea of trying to wish them well, can be, absolutely abhorrent. And like, I cannot do that. So the invitation is to start incrementally, right? So we want to just, kind of work our way into this idea of, wishing kindness, wishing wellness. And then with practice, it can be transformative. One of my teachers on a retreat, and I'm forgetting who it was now, had some trauma at the hands of a, awful person who had, caused them great harm. And when they started working with this practice and they got to this, lifting the heavier weights. So again, don't start with that person, but, maybe consider this. But the story that he told was that he did this practice every day for a year towards this one individual. And again, the individual who harmed them, it's not letting someone off the hook, right? But it's that idea of, when we hold hatred, bitterness, it really harms us because the other person might not even know that that's coming at them. So it's not about like them knowing that you're practicing this, but it's about you practicing it for you. So again, I don't want to get too much in the weeds for that because this is an introduction, and don't jump into the deep end of the pool. Really do consider that this is a practice. And so what you might find though, as you practice, benefits are improved social and family relationships, or familial relationship, family, improved social and family relationships. And why that is because again, you might think in your own family or social circle, people who have wildly differing views, like whether it's political values, things like that. And that can cause a lot of pain. So if you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe, if I give them the benefit of the doubt, and it doesn't excuse bad behavior. So I'm not saying that at all. I need to take a drink with that one. Bubble water. Anyway, so again, it's not excusing behavior, and there are real things that you need to like make decisions about and not be in a situation if it's so heightened. But what it can do, is allow you to say like, okay, well, they're coming at it in a way that I do not understand, but I think most people are motivated again by the desire to be safe, happy, healthy, and financially secure. So maybe they think a different way will get them there. And so back to I digress. Anyways, and then the other benefits are increased self-love, self-compassion, and self-worth. Again, this idea that when people are doing this practice all around the world, at any point of the day, you are, you're being included in those well wishes. So that really struck me, and maybe it's a me thing, but you might think about it every now and again. And then also when you're wishing yourself well, it goes to that self-compassion piece, right? It goes to that practice that can be really challenging and daunting. It can form emotional pain. Again, it's not going to take things away, but it might help shift. And it has been shown with people who are living with PTSD and other, trauma, that this practice was able to help them transform that pain. It can enhance a sense of connection and belonging to the world, better mental and emotional health, and decrease stress and anxiety. So again, even if it feels kind of, schmoopy or, ooey gooey, you might try it. Again, I'm not here to convince anyone to do these things. I'm here to share what my experiences have been, and hope that those actually that you can find your own way, and whatever works for you. And so it does affect mental health, reduces stress, and increases emotional well-being, and can promote empathy. And I remember, thinking, here in the States, a few years ago, we had a really contentious political scene, and it seems to be ramping up again this year. And it can be really, really hard when it feels so grating to your own values and what seems right and wrong. And then when you can take a step back and go like, okay, people are actually voting, saying these things or thinking these things because they they it makes sense. And I could look at them and go like, that makes no sense to me. And they might look at my life or my views and values and go, that makes no sense to me. And so that's the practice. And just see what happens. And so let's see, I am looking at the time here. So what I want to do right now is take a quick break. So when I'll go into this in a second here. So I want to say or remind you, you're listening to Creating Connection with Dr. T. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, I'll guide a metta meditation, and then we'll wrap up the show with action items as we do. And what I want you to do is, if you are going to practice this, again, I said you could practice it anywhere. I'll be inviting people to close their eyes. So if you're trying this while you're driving, keep your eyes open. And then or you could find a place right now just to find some space to like be uninterrupted if possible, and that you can settle into a bit of a longer practice. It'll probably be about a 20-minute practice. Okay, so when we get back, I will be leading a meditation. Hi, welcome back to Creating Connection with Dr. T. In this section, as promised, I'll be leading a mindful meditation, Metta, loving kindness or loving loving friendliness or friendliness. So I'll be guiding that practice. And again, pay attention to, if you have thoughts about this practice, or if you're not in a place where you want to listen or practice, you can go ahead and turn this off and then come back to it. I will have this uploaded to Insight Timer probably sometime next week. And again, I wanted to, just before we get started, say that there can be difficulties, right? So you might feel inauthentic when sending care or well wishes to someone that you have conflict with. And it might be hard to offer yourself well wishes. So paying attention. And again, if you can approach that with a bit of humor and curiosity, oh, excuse me, that bubble water, that will help you in this practice. So be curious and open. And I'll just give a little pause here. Okay, this is a loving kindness meditation or metta meditation. In this meditation, I will be guiding some phrases that will be directed towards yourself, towards others. And notice if these phrases don't resonate with you. You can create your own phrases, but I'll lead the ones that resonate with me and hope that they do with you as well. So finding a comfortable position, one where you can be alert yet at ease. This could be laying down, it could be seated, and allowing yourself to be present in this moment. Maybe taking a couple of deep breaths, breathing in through the nose, expanding the belly, and exhaling. Exhaling through the mouth, breathing in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Maybe do that one more time. Deep breath in and exhale. Allowing your breath to go to its natural rhythm. Maybe noticing where you feel the breath most easily in the body. Maybe it's at the tip of the nose, back of the throat, or with the rise and fall of the chest, rising on the inhale, falling on the exhale. Or it might be lower in the belly, expanding on the in-breath, contracting on the exhale. Just allowing yourself to be here in this moment. You might notice if the brain is really active, and that's okay. It's what the brain does. And just gently coming back to the anchor of attention of the breath. And then as I begin saying the phrases, those will be your anchor of attention. So knowing that the mind will wander, it's what the mind does, noticing it, and then coming back to the practice. And that's the practice, going, noticing that your mind has wandered, and then coming back and doing that as many times as necessary. So making any adjustments to your posture. And again, if you're, driving or listening to this while you're walking or doing something else, keep the eyes open and attention to the surroundings. But if you're settling in, allow yourself to make any adjustments so that you are comfortable. And again, you want to be alert, yet at ease, making any adjustments. And I'd like you to do just a small scan through the body, maybe starting at the head and moving your attention through the body, the forehead, the face, the neck, the shoulders, the torso, the hips and thighs, knees, calves, ankles, all the way down to the toes. So just scanning your awareness through the body. Again, the body will, give you an indication. Do you need something to, make yourself that a little bit more comfortable? Or maybe it's unfurrowing the brow or lowering the, shoulders away from the ears. Just noticing where you might be holding tension or tightness. Taking a breath. Maybe relaxing the areas or inviting a sense of ease and relaxation if that's possible. So I'd like you to bring to mind someone or something, some being that if they were to walk through the door right now, it would be an uncomplicated feeling of joy, maybe, really a warm feeling. And this can be someone that is alive now, or maybe they've passed on. But just bringing to mind someone that if they were in the room with you right now, you would have that sense of warmth and joy. And if a lot of people are coming in, how wonderful. And I'll invite you to just pick one to focus on for this practice. And as you have that person, it could be a pet, a person, um, you know, I- whatever brings you joy coming into the room with you. So as you focus on that, I'd like you to wish that person or being these phrases. May you be happy. May you be free from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with ease. And then, if any other well wishes that you'd like to send to this person or being come to mind, you can do that now silently. And I'd like you to let go of that image or the sense of that being that is so uncomplicated and easy to love or be friendly towards, and notice in the body if there's any shift, if there's a sense of warmth or kindness. And then I'd like to invite you to direct that towards your own experience, much like that person would want for you, right? Like if it's a mutually uncomplicated and loving relationship, they would want that for you as well. So I'm going to invite you to turn your attention now to you and your experience, whatever that is right now, and sending these well wishes to yourself. May I be happy. May I be free from inner and outer harm. May I be healthy in body and mind. May I live with ease. May I be happy. May I be free from inner and outer harm. May I be healthy in body and mind. May I live with ease. And then whatever well wishes or good things you want to wish for yourself come to mind, just allowing yourself to send yourself some friendliness if it's possible in this moment. Now I'd like to invite you to bring to mind someone that is neutral. So maybe even indifferent. This could be someone that maybe you see at a coffee shop, or perhaps it's in the mail carrier, or someone that you don't have, really strong relationships. You might not even know their name. But what you do know is that you share humanity with this person, and that even if you've never had an in-depth conversation, you can imagine that they'd desire to be happy and healthy. So bringing someone that is neutral to mind. May you be happy. May you be free from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with ease. And again, taking some time to send your own well wishes towards this individual. Now, I'd like to invite you to bring your community to mind. This could be friends, family, you know, inner circle, or maybe even rippling out to a larger circle of acquaintances, and just kind of bringing to mind your community, people that you interact with, maybe more often, and just invite those people in. And we'll be sending them well wishes. May you be happy. May you be free from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with ease. Writing your own words and sending that out to your community, rippling out some well wishes. I'd like you to now expand your awareness from your community or maybe daily interactions to the town or city that you're in. Maybe even rippling out to, the state, country that you're in. Just imagining your attention widening out from wherever you are in this moment to community, to city, state, and country that you're in. And again, there will be so many people in this group that you will never, ever meet. Yet they share humanity, and you can wish them well, knowing that they, like you, want to be safe and happy and well. May you be happy. May you be free from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from inner and outer harm. May you be healthy in body and mind. May you live with ease. And any other well wishes you'd like to send out to this larger shared community of city, state, country, with the inhabitants therein. And now I'd like you to expand even further to the world, this world that we all share, all of the countries, all of the different languages, all of the different customs and beliefs and everything, knowing at the heart of most people, they want to be happy. They want to be healthy. So seeing if you can invite your attention to all beings on this planet, in all the countries, in all the states, all beings. And guess what? You're included with that, right? Because you're one of those beings. So including yourself and the inhabitants of this planet, may we be happy. May we be free from inner and outer harm. May we be healthy in body and mind. May we live with ease. May we be happy. May we be free from inner and outer harm. May we be healthy in body and mind. May we live with ease. And taking time now to send out any ripples or well wishes to all beings, including yourself. So I'd like to invite you to let go of the images and to once again bring the attention to the body in whatever position that it's in, noticing points of contact, maybe noticing any sensations that are in the body. Maybe the mind is busy once again with what's next, or maybe there's a sense of a little more peace and ease. Whatever's here, just acknowledging it. And then bringing the attention to the breath, breathing in, knowing you're breathing in, breathing out, knowing you're breathing out. Just allowing yourself to pay attention to the body breathing in this moment. And before opening your eyes, I'd like to just invite you to maybe bring this practice in throughout the day and notice where you might need loving kindness or friendliness towards yourself or towards others. And when you feel ready, start wiggling the toes, maybe inviting a stretch or movement, and opening the eyes if they've been closed. Thank you so much for your practice. All right, everyone. If you did the practice with me, thank you for your practice. I always feel very tender and moved when I get to that all beings, and you might have even heard that in my voice. It feels really good on this end. I hope it does for you too. Um, so I'd like, as we're wrapping up the show, I always like to add in some action items. So I'd love for you to pay attention to and identify areas where you can practice loving kindness, whether that's yelling at a fellow commuter, or just, seeing, maybe where you might be being a little hard on yourself and where you could use a friendly voice in your own experience and seeing if you can direct that towards yourself. Another practice that I really love, and I learned this from Elizabeth Gilbert, who's an author, but she has a practice called writing, to love. And so I've been doing this for a couple of months, and it's been really powerful practice. And what it is you write, "Dear love, what would you have me know today?" And then just do some journaling and see if that's an access to that kind of friendlier voice in your own experience. It has been for me. So seeing where you can practice loving kindness, maybe even through that journal prompt, "Dear love, what would you have me know today?" And if you look up Liz Gilbert and Letters to Love, she has a Substack and lots of great information that has been fun for me to experience, and I hope for you as well. All right, so using a guided meditation to practice metta or loving kindness. The one that I led today will be uploaded to Insight Timer sometime next week. Please feel free to check out my website for free downloadable meditations and practices. My website is ccwithdrt.com. That's ccwithdrt.com. I've also, like at the end of last month, I did 2 different talks. So if you need, a speaker or a workshop at your place of business or in an association, I am for hire. You can find out more information on my website again about that. So last month I did a talk of, a workshop at a conference on stress and burnout. And then the following day, I did a webinar on caregiver burnout. So please reach out and have me at your next event. I love doing that. I love connecting in real life or virtual events. Both work for me. And folks in Minnesota, please join me on June 6th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at Align Optimal Wellness for an in-person workshop on mindful aging. I would love to see you there. And I just want to say again, play with the practice, see what it does for you, and approach it with some curiosity and humor. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Creating Connection with Dr. T. I'm grateful that you chose to spend this time with me today. Reach out with any questions, comments, or show ideas, and thank you so much for sharing my show. Join me on the first and third Wednesdays of every month at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central, and 10 a.m. Pacific. And until then, take good care of yourself and others, and I'll see you back here on June 5th. I don't have a topic, so please let me know what you'd like me to talk about. Otherwise, I'll come up with something. And I look forward to being with you for episode 18. Have a wonderful week. Bye. Thank you for listening to Creating Connection with me, Dr. T. You can join me by tuning in on the first and third Wednesdays every month at 10 a.m. Pacific on transformationtalkradio.com, where we will navigate being human together. Being human means that we all have a body, and we will all experience loss, grief, and aging if we're lucky. Let's join together on this journey of exploration, support, and mutual learning. I love bringing people together, and on Creating Connection, we are a conversation away from understanding another person and, quite frankly, ourselves. For more information, visit ccwithdrt.com.